Hey guys, so I did something really stupid yesterday. I forgot to film, so I thought, instead of filming today and then tomorrow, because Saturday is technically the last day of the last week, I thought I would do a little back-to-back episodes for you guys. 2 episodes today. So I'll be filming, I'm filming both now, but one will be up when this video is over, and the other one won't be up till about 6. So, today, as I was supposed to talk about yesterday, my top 10 Little House episodes, and then I will film today's video. Alright, so let's get things started. Number 10 on my list is from season 1, Money Crop. And again, just so you know, because Little House has 9 seasons, what I did was I chose one episode from every season. That's my favorite. And then I added an extra episode, which I believe is from season 1. Or is it 3? I don't know what episode that's from. What season that's from? Okay. But anyway, number 10 is I don't know, and again, I don't know the episode number, but it's Money Crop. And this one, pretty much a man who went to school and studied farming, and gets the farmers into growing corn instead of wheat because it's more money. But when he goes to pick up the seed, his wheel breaks and the horses come undone from the wagon or whatever, and he crashes and is stuck there for a few days. And all the farmers start wondering where he is and start saying bad things about him and his wife, and eventually Charles goes to find him. And the guy decides that he can't stay in Walnut Grove because of what the farmers did to him and his wife, which makes sense. I mean, I'd probably want to leave too. But then they find out that they have such good neighbors, so they decide to stay. Alright, number 9 is I'll Be Waving As You Drive Away, Part 2. This is a very important episode in Mary's character. The first episode she goes blind, but this one, she discovers that she can still be a teacher even though she's blind, and ends up falling in love with Adam, I guess. Alright, number 8 is, and that's from season 4. Okay, number 8 from season 9 is For the Love of Blanche. This is when Mr. Edwards agrees to take on someone he shared a camp with that he'd never met, take on his little girl, without knowing that she is an orangutan. And it's actually quite funny because the orangutan attacks Nancy because Nancy was provoking it, and, the orangutan's name is Blanche, so she provokes Blanche, and Blanche attacks her, and her mom calls the sheriff, who tries to get rid of the orangutan, and Mr. Edwards shoots her because he's supposed to, so he thinks the sheriff shot her, even though he didn't, and then they end up going to the zoo. Alright. Number 7 from season 8 is my other one's from season 8, never mind, is The Legend of Black Jake. Oh, that's season 7, isn't it? No, that's season 8. No, it's not. Just confirmed it's season 7, but, this one's Legend of Black Jake, but Legend of Black Jake is season 8, but the other episode I have on here that is not from the other 9 seasons is season 8, which means 7, which means that one of them is the one I thought wasn't season 3 is season 3. Okay. But Legend of Black Jake, this one is actually kind of a comedic one, which I think they tried to get away from most of these episodes. Pretty much these bandits that aren't very good bandits get out of jail and want money, so they hold up Mr. Olson, who doesn't have any money on him. They kidnap him to get money, but Mrs. Olson doesn't give them the money, so they tell her that they killed Nels, even though he dresses up as Black Jake. And then they kidnap Mrs. Olson, and the kids try and get money from the bank, but they can't because Mrs. Olson only she can take money out. So they kidnap the banker, who has the safe locked. So then they kidnap the doctor because the banker is sick, but they end up kidnapping Reverend Alden because he was with the banker. He was with Dr. Baker. And then eventually they get them they get Dr. Baker and Reverend Alden to break into the bank and steal money, but Charles and Almanzo catch them, and then they try and make a plan so they can get everyone out, but it doesn't work. So then I think the robbers eventually leave and they end up back home. It's kind of funny because Harriet tells Willie and Nancy that Mr. Olson is dead, even though he's just in the storeroom. It's actually kind of funny. So yeah, but again, that one isn't hard because I find there's some ones that are more funny they're not as funny, but they're still in there. All right. Number 6 is Olson versus Olson. So this one pretty much, the Olsons are fighting again, and Mr. Olson moves out into the hotel, which is owned by Nellie. And then he decides to move back after that speech about how the men own everything and the women should change that. Mrs. Olson moves out, and Carolyn tries to get Charles to sign the petition, but he doesn't. So then Mrs. Olson wants to move back, and Mrs. Ingalls says no, and pretty much gets all the women in town to move into the hotel until the men sign the petition. And yeah, alright, and we're halfway through number 5. The Werewolf of Walnut Grove from season 6. This one pretty much, a new kid comes to town, he's a bully, and he's older than all the other kids, and picks on everyone, gives Albert a black eye, so then Laura and Albert, typical Laura and Albert, decide to dress up as Albert up as a werewolf and scare the kid, and they get a kid who's picked on him as well in there. Of course, it doesn't work, so eventually they get the whole school to beat him up, and he agrees to behave if Eliza Jane will resume teaching because he pretty much got her fired. Alright, number 4 is Centennial from season 2. So, this one is actually a more serious episode. I have some serious ones in here, like Money Crop, I'll Be Waiting as You Drive Away, and this one and the next 2. The rest, and I guess Olson vs. Olson. The rest are, well, Level Branch is a little serious too, but the rest are a bit comedic, and so this is a mix of funny and episodes with good meaning. So, Centennial, pretty much, it's the United States' 100th birthday, so everyone decides to celebrate, but then they found out taxes are being raised, and no one feels much like celebrating. And this Russian guy who has only lived in the country for so long makes a flagpole and celebrates that the United States is the best country in the world before he leaves, because he has to leave because he can't pay the property taxes that he bought with the land, which he didn't know. He says that we shouldn't be sad, you shouldn't be sad and upset. Where I come from, things are worse, and he says stuff like that, and then he says that America is the best country in the world, which, from what I've heard from immigrants and stuff, Canada's actually the best country, but Canada was only a new country at that stage, so. And I like it because he is a new American and a new citizen in Walnut Grove, and yet he celebrates it more than anyone else there. Alright, next up, from season 5, the Lake Kezia Monster. This one's quite funny. So the kids, which is Andrew, Albert, and Laura, hang out at Lake Kezia's pretty much the last day of school, and then Mrs. Olson and Kezia refuses to pay taxes, so Mrs. Olson decides to buy a summer home. So she buys Lake Kezia and turns it into Lake Hayden Social Place, and makes Kezia sleep in the shed and be the maid. So eventually, Kezia and Laura, Albert, and Andrew decide to make up a story that there's a monster in the lake to scare Mrs. Olson off the property. At first, Mrs. Olson doesn't believe it, so then they decide to make a monster. And that works, and it is quite funny, especially the last 5 minutes. Last 10 minutes. So, yes. That is number 3. Number 2 is the election from season 3. So they decide to have a school election, and the boys work a plan because there's more boys than girls. So Nellie bribes her friends with candy to nominate them, which they do. And then one of the boys nominates Mary, which is smart because the way they figure it, the girls will split the votes. So then they nominate an outcast, Elmer, who is picked on by the older boys and raises animals and isn't really at the hierarchy of the school for students. So then all the boys will vote for him. Eventually, though, when his dad finds out who nominated him, Elmer decides to drop out. But then he comes up with a speech saying, as he's dropping out, and Mary decides to drop out. So therefore, the votes are left voting for Nellie and Elmer. And of course, Elmer wins because Willie, who Nellie thought was going to vote for him, actually voted for Elmer. And Nellie asks why, and Willie says, because Elmer's always you're always picking on me, and now I won't let you. And that's one of the best lines, and it's one of the best things ever. Also, they also have very different ways of campaigning. Nellie buys her votes, where the rest just really don't do anything. And number 1 from season 7 as well, The Nephews. This one is actually quite funny because we find out that Almanzo's family isn't all that we seem. We meet his brother Royal for the first time, and his nephews, who pretty much, Royal's wife read in a book that you should never say no to your child, which, if you are a parent and you are watching this, say no to your child. If you've seen the Little House episode, The Nephews, you know what I mean. They pretty much are allowed to do whatever they want, when they want, and their parents don't say no to them. Their parents don't yell at them. So pretty much they're undisciplined and allowed to get away with anything. So, Royal and Millie decide to take a second honeymoon and dump the kids at Laura and Almanzo's. Of course, Laura being a teacher, and Almanzo, they pretty much bring the boys down a few notches. When the boys play pranks on them, they do stuff like throw buckets on their head, throw buckets of water on them, and stuff like that. So it's pretty much a prank war, but then they end up saying, and they do say a line that actually gets me. They ask their Aunt Laura if she likes kids, and she says that she loves kids. She doesn't like them. Very good point. Now, I personally don't have any nieces or nephews. I have some second cousins that I quite admire, or that I quite adore, so I'm kind of glad my parents never said no to me. Alright, so that's going to be pretty much it for this video. Stay tuned for 6 o'clock, that's pretty much it for today's video, yeah. Stay tuned for at 6, where I'm going to talk about epidemics and diseases in TV shows to kind of show that this isn't a new thing, because some people probably feel that way. Alright, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment down below on what your favorite Little House on the Prairie episode is. Alright, see you.